Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday evening. I hope you all had a beautiful day. I want to begin by apologizing. Rebecca had alerted me that one of my videos was mute. It wasn't even mute. I don't know. I bought these microphones and yeah, they don't work. And I'm pretty sure it's not the operator. I think it's just the microphone. I mean, it just shuts off. The one video, well, I did the daily devotion to Jesus first and didn't realize that half that video it was muted or shut off. And then the Diary of St. Faustina was completely silent. So yeah, I just ordered a new microphone to come in, something a little more elaborate. Not super elaborate, but at least better than that. And so that, I don't get cut off. And, the thing is, too, is when I get up, I get up in the morning, and I get up a little earlier just so I can do those readings before I go to work. And so my time is like really, there's a really short window from getting up, getting ready, doing the videos, going to work. It's all flows very, very smoothly. So when something like that happens, it's really irritating to me that, I do all that work and think I'm good for the day and then find out that there's nothing there. It's fine, I'm over it. But anyway, I will repost that. I am here for our Bible study for the week reading. This one was extremely short. I think it was actually shorter than 15. So 16 was definitely shorter than 15. So I'm going to dive right into that. And so you can all get on with your evening. And then I will post 17 tomorrow. Let's see what 17 looks like. It seems to be, as we go further into it, seems like they're just getting shorter and shorter. But it could, I don't know. Yeah, that's like literally even shorter. I think there might be 4 verses, 4 small ones. So, but anyway, let's do 16. All right. The demand for a sign. The Pharisees and the Sadducees came and to test him, asked him how to show them a sign from heaven. He said to them in reply, "In the evening you say, 'Tomorrow will be fair, for the sky is red,' and in the morning, 'Today will be stormy, for the sky is red and threatening.' You know how to judge the appearance of the sky, but you cannot judge the sign of the times. An evil and unfaithful generation seeks a sign, but no sign will be given it except the sign of Jonah." Then he left them and went away. The leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees. And I just wanted to really know what that little, that title was referring to. And it said Jesus is referring to the hypocrisy and false teachings of the religious leaders. And that's what this verse is about. So, in coming to the other side of the sea, the disciples had forgotten to bring bread. Jesus said to them, "Look out and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees." They concluded among themselves, saying, "It is because we have brought no bread." When Jesus became aware of this, he said, "You have little faith. Why do you conclude amongst yourself that it is because you have no bread? Do you not yet understand, and do you not remember the 5 loaves for the 5,000, and how many wicker baskets you took up? Or the 7 loaves for the 4,000, and how many baskets you took up? How do you not comprehend that I was not speaking to you about bread? Beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees." Then they understood that he was not telling them to beware of the leaven of bread, but the teaching of the Pharisees and Sadducees. Peter's confession about Jesus. When Jesus went into the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do you say the Son of Man is?" They replied, "Some say John the Baptist, others Elijah, still others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets." He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter said in reply, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Jesus said to him in reply, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my heavenly Father. And so I say to you, you are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of the netherworld shall not prevail against it. I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven." Then he strictly ordered his disciples to tell no one that he was the Messiah. The first prediction of the Passion. From that time on, Jesus began to show his disciples he must go to Jerusalem and suffer greatly for the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes, and be killed on the third day, be raised. Then Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. "God forbid, Lord, no such thing shall ever happen to you." He turned and said to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan. You're an obstacle to me. You are thinking not as God does, but as human beings do." The conditions of discipleship. Then Jesus said to his disciples, "Whoever wishes to come after me must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. Whatever profit there would be one to gain the whole world and forfeit his life, or one can give in exchange for his life. For the Son of Man will come with his angels in his Father's glory, and then he will repay everyone according to his conduct. Amen, I say to you, there are some standing here who will not taste death until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom." So that was very, very short, but to the point. And again, he talks when he talks about that one right at the end, when he talks about who, basically giving everything up to follow him. I always think of the movie of Jesus in Nazareth, and there's the rich man, it was a rich prince or something to that effect. And Jesus said if he wanted to follow Jesus, and Jesus said, "If you want to follow me, you have to leave everything behind." And he just sort of looked at him, and he was like, he's not ready to give up all his money to follow Jesus. And, Jesus understood it, understood that he was just not ready to give that up for him. So he understood that he was not ready to follow him or become a disciple. And I sit there and I wonder, you sit there and you wonder to yourself, when you think about the disciples, I mean, they did give up everything. They just walked away from their lives to follow Jesus, because I believe when they talk about Peter at the beginning, I refer to Jesus of Nazareth all the time, but he had children and a wife, and he just walked away to follow Jesus, and so it's pretty interesting, to think about that, that they believed so much. They didn't need a lifetime, of being, like we're Catholics and we believe, but there are some people that still are trying to believe, or maybe are not fully believing. But they gave up everything. Like, they met him, and they believed, and they gave up everything to spread that word. And that's what we're doing here, and that's so many of us. It's not just me spreading the word of Jesus. There's so many other people on TikTok and YouTube, and spreading the word, and that's all we can do. Maybe we can't be apostles in the sense of that we follow, like they were fortunate enough to be with him, and to live with him. But we can be disciples in other ways, and we can spread the word. And every time we do that, even if we're sharing a post from another page, you don't necessarily have to do, exactly what I'm doing, or maybe with other, other people with Catholic platforms are doing. But even if you're just sharing the word, even if you're just sharing something from one of our pages, I share, if I see something, I'm on TikTok and I see something, I'll share it to mine. We just keep sharing that word of the Lord, and that's what he wants. He just wants us to keep sharing the word, And we are, in a sense, his disciples. When we're doing that, we are his disciples. And you know, unless you think about it that way, it's huge, you know, to think that, you know, that's what you're doing. We're disciples of the Lord. And it makes you, I know for me, it makes me think twice about everything I do since I started this. I'm trying harder to be a better Catholic, a better Christian, a better follower of God, a better follower of the Lord, you know. I realized before when I grew up, I felt like I was very religious, and I was, but not, I don't think, you know, as I am now. There's so much I didn't know, and there's so much I'm learning every time I open the Bible, every time, you know, anything I'm reading or doing or learning. I just started taking a theology class on New St. Thomas Institute. It's very interesting, but I'm just learning something new all the time, and I realized that there was so much I just didn't know, you know. And you realize when you truly do become a disciple, and you truly do become a follower of Christ, and it's just, there's so much, and it slows you down, you know, and makes you kind of look at yourself a little differently. And, you know, how much, I know for me, like, I want to be better than I was. I want to be a better person than I was. And, you know, I'm not perfect. Far from it. You know, you know, trust me, I've sinned, and, you know, every day is a struggle, and there's days that I know, wow, you know, that was really not, yeah, I need to go and pray about that one, you know. So I'm not perfect. I'm not by any means. I'm a sinner, and I just keep trying every day to do better, and that's all I can do. But anyway, you know, think of it when you're doing that, you know, when you're just passing something along or sharing something, or, you know, you just have a page where anything we're sharing about Jesus, you know, about God, about the Blessed Mother, we are disciples, and that's the way you have to look at it. That's what we are, you know, and we need to have as many as we can to keep that word out there and to keep passing it along. So I think that's what I got out of 16. You know, just keep believing, keep doing God's will, keep doing the will of the Lord, keep sharing his word. And with that, I will leave you, and I hope you have a good evening, and I will see you tomorrow with our morning readings that you can actually hear. I do apologize. I'm so sorry. You know, this is my fault for not listening to things back sometime, but like I said, I am on such a fast track in the morning. I am just, like, everything is, you know, and I just go. I'm literally posting stuff as I'm walking out the door. So maybe I should wake up 15 minutes earlier and check myself. I'm not perfect. Have a good night, everybody. God bless. Be well. Be kind to each other.